In the prosperous land of Velmoria, King Aldrich was once a young and ambitious ruler. Under his reign, Velmoria flourished. Vast golden wheat fields stretched across the horizon. Markets bustled with trade, and his army was considered invincible. But ambition blinded him. When a neighboring kingdom proposed a peace treaty, Aldrich saw it as a sign of weakness and decided to strike first. What he didn't realize was that it was a trap. His army was drawn into a prolonged war, leaving his kingdom vulnerable. Meanwhile, traders within his court opened the gates to the enemy. One moonless night, the capital fell. Flames engulfed the palace, soldiers scattered, and the cries of his people echoed in the chaos. Aldrich was overthrown, forced to flee in disgrace. Hunted and alone, Aldrich wandered through the wilderness. Once a mighty king, he was now a nameless fugitive with nothing left but his regrets. One night, starving and exhausted, he stumbled upon a small village nestled in the mountains. No one recognized him. He was just a weary traveler, covered in dirt and defeat. A kind farming family took him in, offering food and shelter in exchange for labor. For the first time, Aldrich traded a sword for a plow, working under the scorching sun instead of commanding armies. At first, he felt humiliated, but soon, he began to see what he had never understood as a king: the quiet strength of the farmers. He learned when to plant, how to water crops for the best harvest, and how the villagers relied on one another to survive. Slowly, Aldrich was no longer the fallen king. He became one of them. But peace did not last. The tyrant who took Velmoria's throne imposed heavy taxes, conscripted young men into his army, and sent soldiers to raid villages. The people lived in constant fear, unable to resist. When a group of soldiers came to seize food and destroy the fields, Aldrich could not stand idly by. Drawing from his military experience, he taught the villagers how to defend themselves. They hid surplus grain in underground storage to avoid raids. They set traps along the roads, making it difficult for enemy patrols to move freely. They reorganized their farming system to be less dependent on the kingdom's merchants. At first, the villagers doubted him. "We are just farmers. How can we fight trained soldiers?" they asked. But under Aldrich's guidance, they won small victories, outsmarting their oppressors. Soon, word spread. A mysterious leader was helping the people fight back. Other villages followed their example, and a resistance movement grew. Aldrich was no longer a king sitting on a throne, but he had become a leader in the hearts of the people. Realizing the growing rebellion, the tyrant sent a large force to crush it. Aldrich knew that this was the moment. Either they fought for their freedom or remained slaves forever. He rallied his people, along with former loyal warriors who had been in hiding. But this time, he was not fighting for power. He was fighting for the people who had saved him, for the land that had taught him its true strength. The final battle was fierce. The farmers, once powerless, now stood their ground with newfound courage. The fields that had once been destroyed became the battlefield they knew better than any invader. After a long struggle, Velmoria was finally liberated. As the people cheered, they urged Aldrich to reclaim his throne. But this time, he understood that a ruler was not defined by a crown. Velmoria does not need a king in a palace, he declared. It needs a leader who stands with the people. He refused the throne and instead appointed a young, wise leader, someone who had grown up among the farmers and understood their struggles. Aldrich remained a mentor, not with power, but with the wisdom gained from his downfall. Lessons to learn. A single mistake can cost you everything, but it does not define you. True leadership is not about power. It is about earning the trust of the people. Perseverance and wisdom can turn failure into a new beginning. Have you ever made a mistake that changed your life? Are you ready to rise again and rewrite your own story?